Michelle Caston, and I'm an independent consultant for Jamberry Nails. I am so excited about this video today because this is my favorite Jamberry Nails application technique. It gives you the flawless Jamberry look that you crave. When I first learned about this product, I knew what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to look perfect, and I wanted it to last at least a week and a half. And with the traditional application technique, I was always very happy with my nail wraps, but they were not perfect. There would occasionally be little bubbles, little wrinkles, and I didn't like it. So I did a lot of research and came across this wonderful method of application which uses a bag full of rice. And this gives you the flawless Jamberry look. No wrinkles, no bubbles, no lifting, no peeling. Those are things of the past. If you haven't seen my other videos yet, make sure you watch the application one, which covers the prep steps before you begin to apply the wraps. You still need to push back and groom your cuticles and wash your nails with dish soap, which I found for me really makes a difference in the wraps lasting longer. And then of course wipe your nail beds down with alcohol. Also, I have been using the Jamberry Nails smoothing base coat under my wraps, and I highly recommend it. Especially if you live under the wraps like I do, or if you have sensitive or weaker nails that tend to peel, because the base coat will provide a really nice protective layer between your nails and the wrap. And Jamberry has two types of base coats. The smoothing one, which I use because I have more ridgy nails, and the strengthening base coat, which you see here. They're both super quick drying also. So it doesn't add more than 1 or 2 minutes to your total application time. It's definitely worth it. And as I mentioned, people that have weaker or peeling nails, if you do have that problem, it may be that your nails are not getting enough moisture. And so I would also recommend the Cuticle Oil for that. This product is awesome. It conditions and softens your cuticle and it moisturizes your nail bed, and so it results in excellent nail health, and you can use that with or without your nail wraps. Of course, the base coats can also be used under lacquers as well, so if you enjoy painting your nails instead of using the nail wraps, those are excellent. And Jamberry Nails makes a top coat as well for use with lacquers. So once you've completed all your prep, you're ready to apply your nail wraps using the rice bag method. And I decided to do a University of Pittsburgh Jamacare today in homage to my alma mater. It is football season, and the collegiate wraps are really fun. A lot of the schools even have multiple designs for the same school, so I thought it'd be cute to do a little accent nail there. You're going to want to trim your wraps in advance to fit your nails so that they adhere to the nails and not to your skin or cuticles. And most of the time, if you're just making slight trimmings on the side, it's pretty easy just to do that with your scissors freehand. But if you're trying to size one of the larger wraps to a small nail, there is a really cool trick that I wanted to show you. You're just going to put a piece of Scotch tape down on your nail and trace the outline of your nail. And then all you have to do is stick same Scotch tape onto the back of your nail wrap and cut it right on that line. And so then you'll have a perfectly sized wrap for whichever nail you need. One of the cool things about the rice bag application method is that your wraps are actually going to be applied cold. So there's no preheating required at all with this. You just stick it right on, and then working at the base and then down the sides, press him down like so. And if you have not yet purchased a Jamberry Nails application kit, I highly recommend it, if for no other reason than to get this guy right here. Because try as I might, I have not been able to find this in any stores near me, and this thing is the key for a smooth application of your wraps. The large surface area allows you to cover a good deal of the nail at one time, and the fact that the tip is rubber makes it so that you can kind of press down on your curved surface of your nail, and it gives with the nail. So this is actually, to me, much easier to work with than the orange wood stick. Another thing you get in your application kit that I feel is worth the money are these curved tip scissors. They're really, really sharp. And so when you're working with your left hand, or whatever your non-dominant hand is, having a pair of sharp scissors makes the cutting a lot easier, and the curve is perfect for using them with your nail wraps to follow the natural line of your nail there. With the rice bag method, I normally do a whole hand at a time and then move on to the other hand. If you get a bubble or a wrinkle while you're working, peel it up and re-stick it down, because I've learned that the wraps do have kind of a memory to them, and so even if you feel like you press the bubble down really, really well and you have it, in a few days' time that flaw will eventually pop back out. So since it's not yet bonded to your nail, it's not going to damage your nails or the wraps to just peel them up and start again to get a smooth layover before you continue with the application process. You'll need to be careful if you're using a base coat under the wraps. You don't want to re-peel and stick too many times, because then the wraps won't stick well, because it's peeling up a little that base coat every time you take it up. So just try not to do that too many times. And the only time that you really cannot peel them back and re-stick them is if you're working with wraps over lacquer, and that'll peel the lacquer up and then it's going to look terrible. So with the lacquer, you do need to practice a little bit and be very intentional and careful when you're placing your wraps on top, because you only get really one shot at that. Alright, so then you're going to take your rice bag over to the microwave. Literally, it's a bag full of rice that I sewed on my sewing machine. You're going to nuke that for about 20 seconds. And be careful, because they can get quite hot. Definitely do not get burnt when you're handling them, but you do want it to be quite warm to the touch. And then you're just going to press it and mold it around your nail. And because it's full of rice, it just molds right around the curved surface of your nail. So heat and pressure are the key to applying the Jamberry nail wraps, and this is heat and pressure. You only need to spend a few seconds on each nail. And there are two ways to do this. You can use this method that I'm using here, or some people prefer to lay the rice bag and press down into it. So whichever works for you. But I am kind of a beast with the pressure, because I like to get a really good seal. And usually the rice bag stays hot enough for me to do a whole hand at a time. So I just kind of keep at them until the rice bag goes cold on me, and then I'll go to the second hand. It's pretty quick. How awesome is this? Sitting on the couch, watching TV, doing my nails. Best application method ever. And now I'm actually going to hold off on trimming the nail wraps until they've had a chance to cool completely. And this brings me to the next little trick I've learned. What is the best time of day to do your Jamacare? Actually, it makes a difference. In the evening, right before bed, is the best time to do your nails. You can jump right back into life immediately after a Jamacare, and a lot of times I admit that I am way too tired at night to think about doing my nails, so I do them in the middle of the day. And they last at least a week and a half for me, which is awesome, because I'm really hard on my hands. However, if you do them right before bed, and you can go to sleep without getting them wet, it gives your nails a good about 8 hours to bond to the wrap, and it really, really helps them last longer. And I've had my longest Jamacures like 2 weeks and longer when I've done my nails right before bed. So if you're looking for the longevity, that definitely is a little trick that works. And so if I do my nails in the evening, I usually just kind of relax and watch some TV and just leave the tips on for an hour or two. And then I trim them right before I go to sleep. So there are a couple things you can do when you're trimming the wraps. The best thing to do is just to get as close to your natural nail as possible and cut right along if you can. Okay, now if you can do that right up to your nail and you can't feel anything hanging at the tips, you don't need to file them, you don't need to clip them, you're done and you're good to go and they'll be fine. A lot of times, especially if you have shorter nails, it's really hard to get perfectly right there at the edge of your nail. And so that's when you're going to either want to use the nail files. If you have a good amount of wrap at the tip, you're going to need an actual real nail file. And you're just going to go straight down like this, not side to side. And just kind of buff that off. If you have a very minute amount of wrap clinging to the tip, and it's just enough that you can feel it and you know that it's probably going to start peeling back on you over time, then I recommend using a glass nail file, which is gentler on the tips. And so you're going to protect the tips from premature wear, because filing excessively, it will cause the tips to show some wear a bit sooner than you'd probably like. So again, the best technique is to clip as close as possible to your natural nail. And if you have just a little bit of wrap, then go ahead and hit it real gently with a glass nail file. And another way to deal with the tips on the nails, which I've done quite a bit myself, is to first trim the wrap up like you normally would. And then, because I like to keep my nails really short because I have young children at home, I've actually taken a nail clipper and trimmed my tips after cutting them, and even taking off a little bit of the natural nail at the tip. And that way I make sure that I've got the wrap and the nail exactly the same length, and those tips are going to be perfect. But that's another thing you can do if you don't mind to trim your nails. A lot of people do want to try to grow theirs, but if you tend to clip them anyway, let them grow until after you've done your Jamacure and then clip them with the wraps on. Here's an important note about the rice bag method, a lesson that I learned the hard way. If you are using wraps over lacquer, you need to make sure that you give the lacquer a chance to completely dry before you attempt this method. I thought my nails were dry. When I pressed the rice bag onto them, the rice grains left little dimples in my lacquer that showed through the clear portion of my wraps. It did not look good. So I would say let your nails dry at least 12-24 hours until trying this method, or else maybe the baggy method would be a better way to do that. Lastly, if you are a Jamberry Nails independent consultant like I am, I would love to be your rice bag supplier, and I would ship these out to you in bulk. You can set your own price point for how much you would like to sell them for at your parties, but it is a wonderful way to set yourself apart as a consultant that knows all the great tips and tricks, and everybody wants their customers' nails looking perfect and then happy customers, and so that's the goal. Thank you so much for watching. Happy jamming!